Hi there. So you want to play the drums? Excellent. My name is Brian Cantor. I'm here today to help you along with that process. We're going to talk about playing a basic rock beat. This is a beat that if you turn on classic rock radio, you'll hear time and time again. The Beatles, the Rolling Stones, all the big bands have used this beat. And we'll also talk a little bit about gear, some drumsticks that you will need, parts of the drum set that we'll be using today, and some various other things you might need to get you going. Let's get started, shall we? I like to form relationships with different stores in my region. There's a couple that I go to pretty often and stay in touch with the guys that work there. They can steer you in the right direction as far as new products are concerned, or even used gear that comes in through the shop. It's really nice to have those relationships. Let's go see our friends at Parkway Music in Clifton Park, just outside of Albany, to take a look at some of the stuff we might need to get started drumming. Alright, here we are, Parkway Music in Clifton Park, New York. Gonna go in and see our man Don in there in the drum department, see what he's got for us. Unfortunately, Don wasn't in that day, which is too bad. I do love to talk to him about drums and gear. I did have a look around. I was tempted by a few snare drums, but didn't end up taking any home, which is for the best, I think. I got myself some sticks, and I also have a recommendation. Vic Firth makes a really nice stick that I like to recommend to new students. It's the American Classic 5A. This particular pair is a wood tip. As you can see, it sounds really nice on cymbals. They also make a similar model, which is the 5AN. Same stick, it just has a nylon tip. It's a little brighter on the cymbals. So let's talk a little bit about the parts of the drum set you're going to use today. Here to my left, this is called the hi-hat. This is two cymbals that are attached to this stand here, which leads down to a foot pedal. The foot pedal controls the opening and closing of these cymbals. For today's exercise, just keep that foot planted. We're going to keep these cymbals closed. Just like that. Right here in the middle, I have my snare drum. Mine happens to be a 1970s Ludwig Supraphonic. I never leave home without this thing. It's just a great drum. And that you'll be playing with your left hand. Just like so. Right here. Then, off to my right, with my right leg, I have my kick drum down here, and there's a pedal there too. And you'll just control that pedal with your right foot. And those are the three things you'll play. Now, to set up to play this beat, it's a funny little thing you have to do with your arms. And what I want you to do is get your left hand situated first, and that'll be right over the snare drum. The right hand goes over the left hand to play the hi-hat. So they actually cross each other. Just like that. Once you've got that idea down, then you're ready to start tackling this beat. One important note. For lefties, the whole situation is flipped. Your hi-hat's going to be on the other side, the snare drum will be in the same place, and the bass drum will be on the other side. So just keep that in mind for you lefties out there. But first, before you start playing, we're going to need to tackle a little music math. Music notation can be very confusing, and I've tried to boil it down here to its simplest form. Take a look at this brief presentation. Hopefully it'll shine a little light on reading drum music. First off, we're going to talk about time signatures. As you can see, a time signature is made up of two numbers. In this case, it's 4/4, or as we say, 4/4 time. The top number tells you how many beats are in a measure. The bottom number tells you what type of note is equal to one beat. You treat that bottom number like it's the bottom number of a fraction. Put a 1 over it, and you're left with 1/4, or a quarter note. 4 quarter notes in a measure. This is a quarter note. Now I'll notate the rock beat. That line next to the time signature is a bar line. Add another bar line and you have a measure. Add another and you have two measures. Since we're in 4/4 time, you'll have 4 beats per measure, 8 total. 8 quarter notes. These will all be played on the hi-hat with your right hand. It will sound like this. Let's hear that again, this time counting out loud to 4 for each measure, like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Great. Now I'm going to add the snare drum on beat 3 of each measure. Let's hear how that sounds with the snare drum added in. Okay, now I'll add the bass drum on beat 1 of the first measure and beats 1 and 2 of the second measure. Let's hear that. I think we're ready to take it to the drum set. First, let's start with the right hand quarter notes on the hi-hat. Next, let's add the snare drum on 2 and 4, like so. Finally, add the bass drum in. If you've been practicing for a long time and are feeling frustrated, go for a walk. It'll do you good. One thing that's important to remember while you're out on your walk is that drumming is not easy. You're asking your mind and body to do new things that it's never done before. You're creating new circuitry in your brain. You're also asking all 4 limbs to do new things. Be easy on yourself. It's not going to come right away for everyone. Just go slowly and make sure that all the notes are landing where they're supposed to be. So there you have it. That's your basic rock beat. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'm Brian Cantor, and I hope to see you the next time.